Yo, what's up, guys? I wanted to make a video kind of talking on sentimental knives and knives from like childhood and stuff like that. Because a lot of people, most people, well, not most, but a lot of people have kind of a collection like this, where it's the EDC knives you cycle through, and you got them for different reasons. And like this one, I acid washed and made cool, and added jimping and stuff. Knives that you don't mind really using, basically using on an everyday basis. And you can get a lot of the real higher end knives, but they're new knives. And they might be really expensive, and you might not want to use them for that reason, but it's not really sentimental. It might be to your kids or years and years later, but I just want to talk on kind of the other side of the collection that I never really shown, which is my childhood and sentimental knives that have been given to me and stuff like that. And just that mean a lot, and that I wouldn't want to use and thrash and put a lot of wear on. Well, a few of them do have that, but they're not from me. It's from people like my grandpa and stuff like that. So here's one that is not real old. It's a Victorinox, and I don't want to use this. I've thought about using the case for it a few times for like my Leatherman juice and stuff, but I don't want to put a lot of wear on it because it's kind of, it's memories for me. I bought this. My aunt on my mom's side is a German teacher, so she does these these trips to Germany for her students. And one year when I was like 15, my parents said I could go, so I went to Germany. We went to Austria, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, and then one of our stops was Switzerland, and that is where I got this. I'm not sure, I forget it's like the Hunter or something. I forget the name for it, but it's just a really cool knife, Victorinox Swiss knife that I bought in Switzerland while I was there with family and stuff. There was some other students, but it was with my aunt. And also, it was in Switzerland, this huge Victorinox store, and I bought one for each member of my family. I got my brother like the kind of bartending type one, and this is just a really cool knife that I don't want to use it every day and nick the blade and get it all rusty and stuff like that. But that's kind of more of a collector's to me. I don't know. Let's see, another one. This is from my childhood. This is one of the first knives I ever got and used a lot. And I used this off and on all the way up, and I used it the entire time I was in the Army. This was on me, along with other ones, but this was on me the entire time in the Army. It's so slim, so light, strong lock back. I still do have the thumb stud and the pocket clip for it, but I just never used it. I like the idea of it being so incredibly slim and light, and just a really cool knife that I've had for a very, very long time. And I remember having this when I was pretty young, and this is kind of what sparked getting into knives and stuff like that. Not this knife in particular, but this was one of them, definitely. There's that. This one's pretty cool. It's a really old Victorinox. I'm not sure how old. I don't know if there's a way to date them or something, but it's got the cool brass pins, and it's just a slip joint. No, it doesn't lock. It's just a slip joint. But this is a really cool one, and this one's kind of special because when I was like 16, I bought a Ford Ranger. That was my first truck, and I was doing all kinds of stuff to it. And our local junkyard, I found this, getting parts for my truck, I found this like It looked like it was stepped on or ran over, like smashed down into the mud. And I picked it up, and it was just caked with mud and everything. And on my way out, I showed the owner of the junkyard, and he didn't care at all. He was like, just take it. Because I thought it might have been his, because it was on the trail, or who knows. But, you know, that's pretty cool. You know, and I just don't really want to carry it, because it's got this cool patina, and I don't want that wearing all the way off, and I don't know. Just another knife that I don't really want to use too much. This one was given to me by a friend because I was in the Army. It's really cool, U.S., kind of like the military issue Army knife. Not Swiss Army knife. It's a Camillus. 1987. Let's see if I can get that to there. Camillus, 1987. Pretty cool. Just really like this knife. And I carried it for a while I was in the Army, and I just decided not to, because I don't want to ruin it. Like I said, I don't want to break the tip off or do anything stupid with it, because it's cool. It's a cool piece. It's got this like punch. Showed you the blade, screwdriver, bottle opener, and then this, they label it can opener. But this is another cool one. Don't really want to use that much. Focus. These are pretty cool. These were given to me by my dad, and they were his dad's, and his dad died when I was like 5 or 6, so I never really got to know him. I remember him vaguely, but he died pretty when I was not old at all. And he put these elastic bands here, and these were his like hunting knives. He skinned countless animals with both of these. I wouldn't have put this elastic, but he did. This is just a really cool piece, and I would never carry these, ever. Because if I were to lose them, or this sheath were to break or something, I would be very upset. I'm probably going to eventually clean up the blades. It says something down here, but I can't make it out. It's really hard to, with all that stuff. So I think it says Western stainless, but it's just cool to have something like this, because look at all the wear on it. That was all done by my grandpa, which I barely knew before he died. And you can see how much he sharpened it. This blade was probably a little wider. But it's just cool to think that this is mine now, and it was his from who knows how long, probably the 60s, maybe even 50s. He probably picked this up at like a hardware store or something, both of these, and then kind of made it his own by putting the elastic. And yeah, my dad said he absolutely loved these knives, and gave them to me. I'm very thankful for. And then this one, when my dad gave it to me, it instantly brought to mind a story that my dad remembers this exact knife, and he's 100% positive it was this knife. But see, I don't really like that elastic. But you can see how incredibly much this one was sharpened. This thing was probably, the blade was probably out to here. But this one says made in USA. Made in USA, and then on the other side it says Western Auto Patented. So I might have to look into that sometime. But this is just a really neat little kind of hunting, skinning, little squirrels and stuff. But when my dad gave it to me, he instantly thought of a story where he knew it was this knife. He was positive it was this knife. And it was, him and my dad were getting, my grandpa and my dad were getting ready to go hunting the next day. They were getting ready to go hunting the next morning, and super early in the morning, their beagle, they had a beagle tied out front. They would keep it outside. It had a dog house and all that, as far as he remembers of what he told me. But my dad was pretty young. My dad was born in '55, so that kind of shows the age of this knife. How long, who knows how long before my dad was even born, my grandpa had these knives. So my dad was born in '55. He was probably 10 to 12, maybe a little older, when they were going hunting. And they had this beagle tied out front, and it was howling and making all kind of commotion. And it was super early in the morning, and here the beagle was really, really twisted all around its stake and its leash, or it had a chain that was, when you twist a chain, it binds up. And that's what the chain was doing, and the dog was couldn't go anywhere. It was twisted all the way to where it was staked in the ground, and it was almost like strangling itself. And my dad remembers his dad grabbing this and cutting the collar off. It was like a fabric collar, because the dog was couldn't breathe hardly. So he just slipped this under, and he cut the collar, and it went straight into my grandpa's arm and sliced up a little bit, really deep. And he patched it up, stitched it up and everything, and they still went hunting that day up to their cabin and still went hunting. So a cool memory for my dad with this, because his dad was just so tough that he just, whatever, we're still going hunting. And he took this hunting, and I guarantee whatever they got, he used these two knives to process that animal. But pretty cool story for my dad, and it's cool that he sees the sentimental value in giving it to me. We're very sentimental. And then this one is really cool. This was also my grandpa's, and it is a K-Bar T29 fishing knife. You can see this one was sharpened a lot as well. You can see here, get it to focus. K-Bar stainless. And I don't know if there's a way to date this, but it's pretty damn old. And at one point it said something on the blade. This is going to be near impossible. You can kind of see little lettering right there. And I would like to know, maybe I'll look up pictures of way better condition ones of what that would say, unless it was custom. But there is really faint lettering there. Really cool fishing knife. I would never use this to go fishing because of the coolness, sentimental, old factor of it. But this would be absolutely perfect for fishing. It's got the huge, slender fillet blade, as well as a descaler and a hook remover. And then, of course, if you're going fishing, you need the bottle opener. But yeah, this is a really neat one. I really like this knife. And this is well, at one point, I don't know how effective it would be right now, but this is come on, focus. This is a hook sharpener. If you notice your hooks are dulling, this at one point you would be able to touch your hook up and give it that kind of sharper point, and maybe get some more fish. But yeah, good condition overall for, I guarantee this was used a lot. He was a big fisherman as well as a hunter, and a lot of use on it. And I'm just glad one of these side pieces didn't fall off, or big chip and plastic out of the handle scale, or this didn't fall out, or metal piece fell off, or it's not nicked or anything, because it's a cool knife. It means a lot, and all these knives do in their own way. We all have knives. Well, most of us have knives that you just want to use every day. You want to use them for EDC tasks, and you don't really mind unless they're really expensive. And if they're really expensive, you probably won't use it nearly as much. But you don't really mind if something happens to it. It gets scratched up and all that. This is a pretty expensive knife. The Paramilitary 2 is what I'm carrying today, and it adds character when this starts wearing and you get a little nick in that and stuff. But it's character of a knife you've bought brand new and you've put the wear on it. But I just think it's really cool when knives like these, my grandpa put the wear on it back in the 50s, stuff like that. And then knives like these that are just, I bought it in another country on a very cool trip, and I just don't want to use it and thrash it. So there's like kind of two sides. There's like the sentimental ones, and then there's just the sentimental to you ones, and then the sentimental for other reasons. There's like reasons for knives to be sentimental. But yeah, sorry for the rambling if I rambled. But I just wanted to come in and show kind of the other side of my collection. I'd have to dig around. I probably have a few more that fall into this category and not this category. Big box O knives that you just pick a new one every day and use it all day. This is one side of it, this is the other side of it. And I thoroughly enjoy both sides of collecting knives. I eventually want to, and I might start kind of soon, I want to have a display case at my house with knives like this. Get some older case knives and the, the older buck ones. Maybe go to flea markets, try to get some cool used ones and kind of have them in a little display case and just cool talking pieces and make up a little cool display case and have that. I think that'd be cool. But, alright. Have a good one.